off, we're just going to do a sketch in the front plane. And that sketch is going to be nothing more than a simple construction line going up the middle. And we're going to call this our axis. All right, so draw your line. Let's go ahead and make it a construction line. And then we're going to give it a dimension of 25. I do want that to be in millimeters. So let's go ahead and change our workspace units and just make things millimeters. Check. And then, yeah, so it made it 25 inches, didn't it? Kept it 25 inches, but since we want 25 millimeters, there we go. Awesome. So we're at 25 millimeters. We've got a construction line. We went ahead and changed our units. Let's name this sketch axis sketch. What I'm doing is I'm naming them so that when you get to the helix part and the input that's required for that feature, everything will be named as such. So be sure you are naming these as you go. You'll find that very helpful. And I have the axis sketch done. What we're going to do is sketch the axis of the major diameter. So what we're actually doing is creating a telephone cord that's going to spiral up. Just think of like a normal cord that's going to spiral up. And then we're going to have it wrap. So it's going to be a spiraled cord spiraled. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a sketch in the top plane. We're going to do a circle, and we're going to give that a diameter of 50. And just right on the origin, so it's fully defined, and we're going to name this major axis diameter. It's actually going to be in the right. What we're going to do is sketch a circle right on this line, but what we have to do first is go ahead and use that line, project it onto our plane. So you can hit U on your keyboard, or it's also this button on your toolbar, use, projector, convert. And then what we're going to do is draw a circle right here on the circle, if you will. All right, and we're going to give that a diameter of 15. Okay, all right, so we're going to call this sketch the minor axis diameter. All right, so you should have 3 sketches now. All right, this next part, up here in your toolbar, over here, you may not have these features, or maybe you do, I don't know, but you can always add custom features, okay? This helix command that we're about to use is a custom feature that you have to add on. So what you'll do is come up here, click plus, and then you can search the term helix. And what will come up is a feature script custom feature. Okay, there might be a few other things that come up as well. Brings up all sorts of different documents that you've done in the past and documents that are public. But what you want is the feature script feature. And what you're going to do is click that, come down here where you get this like periodic table of elements looking square, and then you want to add that to your toolbar. It should come up with a add to toolbar. You want to add that up so that you end up with a little HE over here. And then go ahead and click that. All right, now our major axis center line is going to be this first line that we did. Okay, so once you have that downloaded, you add that in, you can just go from there. And so our major axis center line is this sketch here. Okay, our major diameter is like this. It's the circle, and then our minor diameter is this smaller circle. So let's see, 25 millimeters. I changed this to 15 millimeters, and then let's change that start angle to 45 degrees. And that should give us everything we need. Check. And you can see we've got the spiraled. Now what we need to do is actually sweep circle along that spiral, and that'll give us that 3D chorded entity. Now, in order to do that though, we have to be able to sketch a plane right at the tail, right at the end of that pigtail there, so that we can draw a circle right at the end of the pigtail there, and then we can then sweep it along the same way we swept the polygon in the past and swept some other things. So what we're going to have to do is create a plane. So you're going to come up here to plane, and then what we need to do next is select certain entities to give that plane its proper starting point. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to hide this front, top, and right plane because it's going to really distract us and make it hard to verify if we've got the things correct. And what I'm going to do is just come to this pigtail with this origin. This is definitely one. It's going to take a level of patience and a little bit of experimentation here. Okay, and then what I did is I selected the end of the pigtail and I selected the pigtail itself. And then you have to click this drop down arrow beneath that blue rectangle and click curve point. Okay, notice how now we have a plane created. It's hard to tell for certain, but that plane is created at the end of that pigtail where we want it. So we can just call this the chord start plane, because without this plane, we wouldn't be able to sketch the start of the chord. Now that we have that done, what we can do is I'm going to actually just right click this. We are going to view it normal to. All right, and then what we're going to do is sketch a circle on the end of that plane right there. And then we're going to sweep a path for that circle. So what that's going to look like is a circle. I'm just trying to remember the diameter here. Let's go ahead and sketch. Your sketch plane is going to be the chord start plane. All right, and then it's easy to confuse these two pigtails. What I keep doing is I keep referencing the one that's closest to the origin to try and help me out. Do a circle. And actually, before I do my circle, I'm going to have to do the same thing I've done in the past, which is select that point and hit U, so that I got a point projected right onto my plane that I need to sketch on. And that way, when I go to sketch my circle, I can use that point and I can go ahead and sketch my circle. Now that circle is going to have a diameter of 3.5. Okay, so now if we look more normal to our plane, you can see that at the end of the pigtail, we've created that circle. The next thing we need to do is name this sketch to sweep. Again, just trying to reinforce the terminology and reinforce the process so it's easier to remember and troubleshoot. If you run into any issues, you should now know that we need to hit the sweep command. And what you're going to do with the sweep command is select this sketch to sweep, and then you're just going to select sweep path and select that sketch, sweep it along. Now you can notice that it's taking a while to get the preview generated. And this is what I mean by this kind of bogs down the graphics card. In fact, you'll find a lot of times with some design, they'll intentionally leave out features that are just going to slow down the system. So if it's a type of thing where they've got a standard bolt, and as part of their design, they probably won't always include all the threads that are on that bolt. The reason they won't include all the threads that are on that bolt because they can just make that like known with either a note within the software, or it can be in some cases assumed, but also because those threads just really bog down the system, and they're not necessary. If you're using a 1/2 inch by 13 bolt and you can just spec that out, then you just spec that out. If you include the threads, your model might be a little slower as a result. Now, I know we've cut bolt threads in the past or made them on Onshape, and it is good practice to learn how to use the program, but I'm just using this time to interject. And as you can see, it's taken a while to load, that some of your design thinking when you're using Onshape may have to involve a level of concern for the graphics ability of your systems, level of constraint in that regard. But anyways, what you can see here now is you have created like a spiraled spiral. So call me over, show that to me. I will be checking. Show me that all your things named. I probably won't click around and explore too much that your sketches are fully defined due to the lag time. However, I am going to expect that what I can see this shape. And lastly, this is again one that you will want to take your time on, because of the fact that it will be so slow and laggy, and if you make a mistake, you just gotta wait that much longer. So there it is, the telephone cord, and hope you guys succeed on that. I know you will.